Prepare yourself for List Off, the gaming podcast where your hosts, Brian and Ryan, rank the things they love. 3, 2, 1, List Off!
This week, you've played Mario, you've played Zelda, but have you played Jelly Boy? We delve into the top 10 games we have not played. How's it going, Ryan?
Good, Brian. Good. I have not played Jelly Boy.
Me neither. I had never heard of it until it entered the Switch Online free Super Nintendo games.
Oh,
it did not make my list. I want to clarify that.
Or did
so?
It?
Yeah. I don't know anything about it, but
yeah. So, just on a side note, you mentioned the Super Nintendo Online.
Yes.
So I hadn't used my Switch in a very long time. I had a big hiatus from it, maybe about a year in total.
Wow.
And, at the time, there was just the NES Online.
Oh, really?
Right. So going back to it, you had mentioned, it's all in the SNES Online. You had mentioned like one of the prior weeks. So I just downloaded the SNES Online.
Wow.
And it's cool. It's very cool.
It is a robust list of games. If you have never played them, like just open that up and you're good for years, honestly.
Yeah. So I have the SNES Classic, the little mini system.
Oh,
and it renders
you're talking about
I have
okay.
that, and it renders
see.
it obsolete. It's like, why did I buy it?
Exactly. Yeah. I bought one of those and then sold it before any of this happened. So it was a cool little thing. You could put extra ROMs on it, which was interesting. So I threw Chrono Trigger on there, and that was fun to play natively with that.
Yeah.
But that thing is more of a, I would hang on to it at this point because it's just a cool little thing.
I still have it on the entertainment center, so
that's good. It's just like a nice little statue at the very least.
Yeah, and before I got the PS5, it was the thing that people would talk about when they came over. Oh, you got a Super Nintendo. Now I have the PS5 and they're like, what's that?
Right.
Yeah. It just takes up so much real estate.
Exactly.
It's huge.
So did you play any games this week?
I did. I played a little bit more Metro Exodus, and it's good. It's a good game. It's, not really. It sucks for me to say this. I enjoy it, but I enjoy it about as much as I enjoyed like Fallout. Does that make sense? They're not a one-to-one. Fallout has many more RPG elements, and this is graphically more impressive. But it's like, I don't really care about the characters. I don't really care about what they're trying to do. It's like, I get to go shoot some large creatures, and that's cool. But
are you going to finish it?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I might take a break and come back to it. I have a tendency to do that, so maybe.
Right.
I also was like, man, so that's not my type of game. So I learned that. And I started thinking, what is my type of game? Well, I really liked Hades and I really liked Returnal. So I was kind of doing some research on games that are similar to those. And I found Risk of Rain 2 being one of them. So I picked it up. It was $9.99. And I'm really enjoying it. It is similar in some ways to Returnal, but there's different classes you could choose. And it's very much like most roguelites, they throw you in, figure it out kind of thing. I like it a lot. It plays really well, a lot less story driven than the two prior mentioned games, Hades and Returnal, but it is fun. It's engaging. It's cool because the runs are short, which I like in contrast to those other two games.
Sure.
I could pick it up, play for 10 minutes and be done with it and move on. But I am
playing with other people or by yourself?
I don't think you can play with other people, can
you absolutely. It's definitely a co-op game.
Well, no. To answer your question, I'm not, but apparently I should be.
Yeah, you definitely can.
I'm enjoying the single player experience. It's definitely a good game. The one thing that kind of gets me is the art style. It has a lot going on screen, And I know it was an indie developed game, so maybe just to have so much going on screen and no slowdown, they chose a specific art style. It is kind of basic. It's very stylized and almost cell shaded. And it doesn't really hit with me, but it also doesn't change my enjoyment factor. It's just sometimes going through the environments, it's like, ugh, I wish this looked a little better.
Sure.
It's a minor gripe. The game plays extremely well, and it's fun and varied. I look forward to getting more time in with it.
Yeah. Now, forgive me. Did you say Risk of Rain 1 or 2?
2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, did you ever play Risk of Rain 1?
Did not.
Okay, me neither. Yeah. But I heard that was a 2D game, and now this is a 3D game, that's kind of crazy that they made the jump from 2D to 3D like that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. And from what the little bit I did read doing my research to find the next game, it was like, no, you don't have to play the first game to play this game. And I think it benefits for that reason, because it's not so story driven. There's a little bit of story there, but it's like, no, you don't have to know what happened prior to this. Just go in, have a good time, and you will, and you really will. If you give this game a shot, it's fun. It is challenging. It is challenging.
I've always thought about playing it. It's not on my list of games that I wish I had played, but it got a lot of buzz when it came out and seemed like it would be an interesting play. Yeah. And at $9.99, that sounds like a decent price for it. So yeah, I might check it out one day.
There is another game I played, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you what you've been playing this week, because I'm pretty sure this other game's going to come up. So what have you been playing?
So I have exclusively been playing Splitgate.
That's the game.
And this, I mean, it's weird because this game came out in, I think it was 2019 in its beta form on PC. And then it just recently came out to consoles. And that's where it has really gotten a boost. A lot more people playing, and it's all crossplay. So everyone can play together, which is so important nowadays. And we plan on playing pretty soon. So that'll be fun. But man, this game is so much fun. It feels exactly like old school Halo. So like Halo 2, 3 era. And then you just have portals that you can throw around. And that just adds this whole level of strategy that's just so much fun. It has the same exact modes as Halo. So it's got like Team SWAT, Team Oddball.
Like same names.
Exactly. Yeah. Same exact names. Like they're not joking around with that, which is interesting. I mean, things like King of the Hill and Deathmatch, like those are kind of ubiquitous names. But for Oddball, I don't know. That's a little on the nose, and definitely SWAT. I mean, come on. But all those game modes have opened up, and I'm now able to play ranked matches, which is a whole other ball game. And I'm not as good in those certainly, but it's still really interesting to play. I don't know if the game pushes you with other PC players when you're playing ranked, but everyone was on PC with mics when I played a couple matches there. Whereas on casual, I was certainly getting, it has a little icon if it's a PS5 or Xbox player. So you can really tell who you're interacting with at that point. But yeah, I'm really interested to dive into crossplay and see just how good you are and how good of a team we make. And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no pressure. I had actually wanted to say how cool it is that this game is finding that newfound life being on console. And I love when you hear stories like this, that this game kind of floundered. It didn't really have too much popularity, and it deserves it. It's a very deserving game of your time and very deserving of this popularity. So you had mentioned too, it's like the old school Halos, and literally the first game I played, I was popping heads. It was like all that muscle memory just never left me, and it was great. You say you want to see how good I am. I hope I play well tonight. I think I'm good. I've been good. The one thing I just started playing with was the portal mechanic. I found that I was doing just fine without it, but I find myself getting, the people who do tend to get the drop on me are using it.
Right.
So I definitely see the value in it. And I started playing around with that the last few matches. I have not put in as much time as you from the sound of it. I don't know if I could access rank. I haven't tried yet. I'm just a filthy casual. But I am really enjoying the casual mode. It's maybe the best online shooter I've played in a very long time. And I will say Chivalry 2 does not count for that list because I would not call it an online shooter.
No, yeah, it's very different.
But I'm having a great time with it as well. It is, and it's free.
Yeah.
It's free. Go
That's
download
the best
it.
part about it.
Yeah, go download it.
I wasn't sure how much you would take to this game because I don't know. I don't really know your FPS kind of history as much and which ones you've really latched onto. So
my pedigree.
Yeah.
I did play a lot of Halo and Halo 2. Beyond that, I didn't play much Halo at all. But there was a lot of time out at sea when I was younger that there wasn't much to do except play competitive. Like this was local,
right?
It was same thing.
So I will say, I feel like the moment Halo Infinite comes out, I'm gonna probably jump ship on this.
Yeah, a lot of people probably will.
Yeah, I feel like it's hitting the same kind of feeling that Halo will theoretically hit. And I honestly even feel like my time with it now is probably not going to last me all the way until Halo. Mm-hmm. I don't think I love the game. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I can see probably like slowing down and tempering on it at a certain point.
Yeah,
so
definitely. I agree. It's good to hear you say that because you have played Halo Infinite. So that lends a little credence to how it obviously to you seems to be the better game for
there's just an unbelievable amount of polish that Halo games always have. Mm-hmm. Obviously the technical beta or whatever, the flights did not have that polish in the gameplay. I think they certainly had what they needed, but I'm expecting a level of polish that will blow Splitgate out of the water because Splitgate is very simplistic in a lot of aspects.
Like weapons, even weapon wise, there's maybe 5 different weapons.
There's not that much.
There's not that in stages. There's not that much. It's good. What's there is good. But I could see it like wearing thin after a while.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And especially with Halo levels. I mean, geez, Lockout and there's so like Blood Gulch. I mean, there's just so many levels that you know those levels by heart, and they're just like classics and masterpieces, and they're designed so well, and they make just so much sense. Splitgate has some good levels for what it's dealing with, but not to the level like a Halo does.
This is gonna sound crazy. So I play Splitgate, but I play it in, obviously when we play it'll be different, but typically when I get on I play it for 20-30 minutes because I do this thing where I'll play 5 matches and I'll be great for those 5 matches. And then this in my head, this pressure starts building like, well, I got to keep this up now. If I have a bad match, I blow it. And it's weird. I put myself in this headspace that it's not like I'm playing competitively. There's no real pressure, but I put this pressure on myself. And it's a reason why I do the same thing with Chivalry too. I feel like if I'm playing good, it's like I gotta stop while I'm ahead. I can't, I can't fail. And then so, and I tend to. That's why also online competitive games I don't stick with because I don't want to put that time in as soon as the player base starts getting better at the game and the level just naturally goes up, but like to a higher level of play. I don't want to feel the pressure of having to keep up with that.
Yeah, that's a real thing, and it's. Yeah, like trying to play Fortnite right now, and I'm sure I would not stand a chance.
Yeah. It's kind of neurotic, I know it, but I felt like I had to get it off my chest, Brian.
Well, I mean, even at the like genesis of online gameplay, I remember having tremendous anxiety whenever there was a team-based like objective. I would always put tremendous pressure upon myself, and like I can't let these people down. Like we got to. I don't care at all anymore. Like I'm just playing to have fun, and if we don't do good, and even if it's because of me, like whatever, I don't really care. I don't know these people, and we're gonna move on. But I would get anxiety. It was like getting called in class and like giving a presentation level of anxiety, and that was not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely the same way. I don't care as much. Like if you lose, it means nothing, but that's what makes it even weirder.
Right.
That I have these feelings.
Sure.
I don't know why. Anyway.
Well, I expect a lot from you when we play. So
you better. I'll bring my A game, buddy.
That's
I
right.
think my highest kill streak is 14.
Wow.
Which is really good, but I have proof too. But if anybody wants to question that.
Nice.
However, I was really upset because I found out if you get to 15, you get a trophy for it.
Oh man.
I was like, no, I was one away.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what my highest is, but I've definitely heard a lot of those kill-tacular, like it's not kill-tacular, but all those different things.
Kill-literate and like,
they
have fun with it. Yeah. Yeah. They have fun with it.
And that is just straight lifted from Halo, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into these lists. These are our top 10 games that we have never played before. So obviously we've heard of them and have an idea and a want to play them. We just never got around to it.
Yeah. Before we get into the list, I will say that these are games I haven't touched, not ones that I've played a little bit of. I've literally not touched these games.
Okay.
But they are, as you mentioned, ones that I think I would enjoy playing.
Okay.
And you may hear more than a few games that you have urged me to play in the past. I don't know.
Sure. So that is the essence of my list. I'm looking at it, and there's probably like 2 that I have put a finger on, but not in any real capacity.
Right.
But that was an important thing for me too.
Yeah.
Just going through, I looked at, all sorts of lists of games that I thought like, I think I've definitely put some time into that game. So yeah, it was not an easy list to come up with things that I like have never touched before.
Same. There were definitely more than a few where I'm like, wait, have I played that? And it was just extremely forgettable.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't be on the list then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump in, shall we? All right. So for my honorable mention of top games that I have never played and wanted to play, number 11 is Dragon Age. And
cool.
I'm kind of going to put, so I know there's Dragon Age Origins and 2, and I don't know, there's like three games in this. I have never played Inquisition. Yeah, that sounds right. I've never played any of them, but the reason it's on my list is because it's by BioWare, the people who made Mass Effect. It's just in a different time setting. It's more that medieval and melee weapons instead of sci-fi and guns. But I've heard great things about it, and I have always wanted to dip my toe into it. But just I have completely skipped it.
That's interesting.
And with EA and Game Pass, it's all available to me. I could jump in whenever I wanted, but just never done anything. And Dragon Age 4 is going to come out at some point, and I just have no baseline for what these games are. So
it'd be a bigger undertaking too if you start it now.
Totally.
These are probably, from what I haven't played them either, not on my list. But from what I've heard, these are larger games. And this is BioWare, prime BioWare for more than a few of these games. So yeah, it is interesting that you never gave him a shot there.
I mean, so whenever given the choice between sci-fi and fantasy, I will always go sci-fi. That's just like, that's me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of what happened, because Mass Effect came around the same time as many of these games. And yeah, I love Mass Effect a lot. I hear that the interactions between characters and the dialogue and all that is top notch, and I think better than Mass Effect from what I have heard. So that's, that gives credence to this whole series to me. But yeah, just never got around to it.
Yeah, good pick. I don't know if I could give a universal answer on whether or not I would choose sci-fi over fantasy or fantasy over sci-fi universally. I think it just depends on the material being presented.
Sure. Like Lord of the Rings, that's top notch and really hard to beat. I don't even know what you would compare that to. But yeah. Star Wars, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'd take Star Wars.
I would take Lord of the Rings, given the choice between those two.
It's funny. Yeah, if it were like watch one of these right now, I'd probably watch Lord of the Rings.
Really?
Yeah, I've had this conversation with my wife before. But
sure.
They're good movies, man.
They really are.
Yeah, and then I'd probably not choose The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, that's garbage.
I'd watch it though. They're not as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah, you can tell the level of care was not
Right,
as
of course. Yeah, definitely. No denying that.
Right.
So my honorable mention are games that you've mentioned. It's Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal.
Yes.
Yeah. These
Dude,
are games.
It's on sale, man. You gotta get that.
I know, and I figured if ever there was a time for me to put it on this list, it's probably right before I buy it.
Right.
Because Doom Eternal is on sale on the PlayStation Store right now, and it's at $14.99.
$14.99 for base game, but like base game
there.
is all you need. Yeah. I mean, I haven't played the DLC, but the base game is absolutely worth $14.99.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like the early Doom games. They're fine. I just never got back into it on the re-release. There was a lot of hype around these games, especially when they came to Switch. I was thinking about getting Doom 2016 when they made that port. And I just never pulled the trigger. And I feel like it's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'll get it, but it's too much money, or there was always something else to play.
Right.
Especially after hearing you talk about Doom Eternal after beating it, and after my experience with Returnal. I just feel like I have to play it.
I can't recommend it high enough. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I think, so I don't know if Doom 2016 has any PS5 upgrades. Mm-hmm. Doom Eternal certainly does. Yeah. And it's going to look so beautiful on that machine.
I'll probably just do the one and not the other. Like I probably would just do Doom Eternal, not mess with Doom 2016. You know, if I ever wanted to catch up on the story, which I'm pretty sure I know, I could just watch a YouTube video or something. I mean, it's Doom, right?
Yeah.
So I think I know that story.
Yeah. And so both games I would say are really good. And if you ever wanted to play both, absolutely play both. Mm-hmm. But the mechanics are a lot heavier in Doom Eternal. And so for me, it really is the PS5 upgrades that would push me to say like, yeah, just get Doom Eternal. It's going to look better. And the gameplay is a little more complex. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I probably will. I probably will end up getting it. So
yeah,
but that's my honorable mention for now, because I haven't played it.
Okay, perfect. So that, I think that's a good example of this list in a good, I've played it, so I can say like, oh man, yeah, like there's this, you should play it. So, all right.
I hope you have a few that I've played.
Right.
We'll see.
So my number 10, this is an example of one that I have played minutes of, and that is Halo 5. So I have not spent much time at all, like not even like gotten through the first level of this game. And I want to play it only to get the story, to get to Infinite. I have heard that the gameplay is fine. The story is okay, but I kind of still want to bridge that gap between Halo 4 and Infinite, because I was completely lost as to what was going on in like Infinite trailers,
right,
and what Master Chief is up to. So that's really the only reason why I would want to play it. It's just like having a gap in a lineage of games is a little weird.
It's on Game Pass, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not, I think it's not on PC. So I'd have to play it on my Xbox, which is really bizarre, because it's not part of the Master Chief collection. It's it's its own game.
Right.
And they never brought it to PC. So that's been another just like reason why I don't really want to play on my Xbox when I have a PC.
Yeah. And there's this whole like time value issue, right?
Yeah.
So how much time would it take to play through Halo 5?
Probably like 20 hours.
20 hours. So are you going to dedicate 20 of your gaming hours, which are limited,
right,
to playing Halo 5? Or are you going to dedicate about an hour of YouTube to watching what happened in Halo 5? Because I have to say, they have those, they call them like Halo 5 the movie, and it's just the cutscenes, right? They have, there's a few YouTube channels that do this, where they just do the story,
right,
and call it like so-and-so the movie, and that's it.
Right.
And
that's cool. That might be the way to do it.
That might be the way to do it. I'm not, down talking Halo 5. If anybody out there likes it, I've never played it.
Right.
So, but I have seen some of the occurrences in that game, and well, just because I watch a lot of top 10 videos.
I see.
You know what's funny though? I watched a lot of top 10 videos prior to making this podcast. Now I don't.
Right.
Which is like
you make them.
I
you
make
the
them.
top
like,
10s.
Yeah, I don't need your opinion. I got my own.
Right.
Cool. Yeah. But no, yeah, if you do play it, I'm sure I'll hear about it. But I have very little to say about it.
Sure.
It's got Master Chief, Cortana, right?
That's it.
Yep. Sci-fi combat.
She's gone rogue again or
aliens.
something. I don't know.
I'm sure it has
aliens are in it.
I bet they are.
maybe
maybe a Halo.
Aliens.
There might be a Halo in it. I don't know.
See, the thing is, I don't really know the story of Halo except for like the huge overarching things that have happened, and that's kind of all I have cared about. And whatever.
I feel like at the end of these games, that's really all that sticks with you. There's a lot of minutia to move the story along.
Yeah,
but it's really about that final level and where you start from, and that's about it. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Let me know if you get around to it.
I will.
So my number 10, Brian, is a game that one of our guests talked about, actually. Charlie Boothby talked about it, and it is Persona 5. I have heard so many people and other podcasts even talk about this game like it's literally say it's their favorite game of all time.
Right.
I've never touched it, and I'm not sure if it would be up my alley. Sometimes when I hear people talk about it, I'm like, man, I'm not really into a lot of conversation, and dating sims and things like that. But when I hear about the style of everything and how good the characters are, I'm not the biggest anime fan either. There are anime out there I enjoy, but it has intrigued me to the point where maybe I would give it a shot. I've heard the gameplay is fun, and I have heard those character interactions are great, and that you do tend to start caring about these people that you're playing with. And I've heard that just it oozes style. It all takes place in like a certain district. I've heard people gush on and on now. All they want to do is go to the coffee shop and hang out. And and that's cool. If it's a game world that makes you feel like you want to live in it, that at least piques my interest. And maybe someday I will get around to it. It is free. It's part of the PS Plus collection.
Oh,
so I have
really?
The game. Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
Not Persona 5 Royal, which is like the upgraded version. It's just the Persona 5, the base game.
Sure.
But from what I also hear, that's about 100-something hours of gameplay.
Yeah. You want to talk about a commitment? That's
super daunting. Super daunting. And I think the Final Fantasy VII remake got me more interested in JRPGs, which if you could call that a JRPG, but it's the story gets funny and it has all those little anime quirks with the characters and stuff.
Right.
And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And it made me think maybe I should start playing more RPGs.
Sure.
I did want to play Final Fantasy 15, I think was free in the PlayStation Plus collection too. And I've heard good things about that. So I don't know if I'll ever get around to Persona 5, but it is a game that I think I could possibly enjoy, especially after hearing the praise that it's received.
Right. I played through, I want to say like 6 hours of Persona 4. I think it's Golden, yeah, on Vita. And I gave it 6 hours because I had heard, it's the best game on Vita. Like this is it. Yeah. This is all you need. Not for me. I tried. I feel like 6 hours is a good amount of dedication to it. Yeah. And when people are like, okay, but just get to the 30-hour mark. That's where. No, I can't. Yeah. I did that with Final Fantasy 13. I think it was, or 13. 2 or whatever lightning. No, I gave that game like 10 hours. I can't do it. This is not for me. I appreciate the effort, but it's not up my alley.
Yeah, I get it.
I like JRPGs. I mean, like I just mentioned Chrono Trigger. Like there are definitely games out there that are appealing to me, but yeah, the whole high school thing kind of just didn't grab me in the way that I think it does for many people.
Yeah, maybe it wouldn't, but I figured I have to put it on this list because people literally like it is well regarded as one of the best PlayStation 4 games out there.
Oh yeah.
So, and that's certainly hefty competition.
Right. All right. Well, my number 9, Ryan, is Factorio. So
wait, isn't this the one you were playing?
No. That's Satisfactory.
Oh, excuse me. However, could I get them confused?
Totally different games.
Of course.
One, you're building a factory from like a top-down perspective, and that's Factorio. The other one, completely different. First person factory building.
I can see it.
It's a whole different game.
I get it now.
So Factorio is a game that I've always known about, and in the back of my mind, I said that seems like it would be fun. It'll scratch the itch that just like, planning and organizing and building. That sounds cool. Harvesting, and then Satisfactory came along, and how much I talked about that game on this podcast over the many episodes. It's probably very boring to hear me say like, I got nuclear power. Like,
but that's cool. I like hearing about it because it's the type of game I probably would never play.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I thought. Like, I wouldn't have gone into it saying like, yes, this is my game. I took a chance on it because I heard of, the ways that it is entertaining. And I thought, maybe. And it really did scratch the itches that it said it would. Mm-hmm. So Factorio, I still want to play because Satisfactory is, I think that the problem that I have with it is that it's very big. Like being in the first person perspective, it takes you a lot of time to travel and get to your different areas. And it just feels like a time sink sometimes when you're traveling. And, you can build trains and different things to get around, like hyperloop tubes and stuff. But Factorio just seems like a little more condensed in the area. And like I can do more things in a shorter amount of time. And that kind of plays to my life right now.
Yeah.
So I think I still want to play that game. And I know that it'll basically be doing the same thing that Satisfactory does.
But that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's still a different experience. And I do typically like the top down view. I probably would not play Satisfactory, but I would play Factorio.
Really?
Yeah. I always like the civilization games, Civ, if you're cool. And I like the SimCity games. And there's something about having that God's eye view of the things that you're putting together that just really makes it read better to me.
Right.
Whenever they tried to do it on a ground level type thing, or even the Sims where you're just it's more minute. I just didn't really get behind that. It's for some reason it didn't play the same way with me that those, really pulled back view, top down worked. Right. Yeah.
I mean, that certainly happened a lot in Satisfactory, where I would just like build a massive tower to see my whole factory working and laying it out. And it just made more sense. So I instead of having to like jump all the way down and like tinker with one thing and then jump all the way back up, I think I would like Factorio more in that streamlined process.
Yeah, no, it's a good pick. Haven't played it. Have you jumped into Satisfactory more since then? I guess you probably would have mentioned it. Not really. You've kind of reached like the point where you see where it's going. And
well, I still want. So I have been playing on a cadence of their updates, and they are working on their 5th major update, and they're just now teasing it. So I think it'll probably still be a ways away.
Yeah.
But they're adding ramps with guardrails now. So
oh my gosh,
whoa, that's something.
I might get it now. Ramps with guardrails. You were
waiting for.
Look, I was been waiting for years for that.
They did a very silly YouTube reveal of like epic music and like
it had to be
a helicopter, like wide shot, and then they just reveal this ramp with guardrails.
Very good. So, good pick though.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So for my number 9, speaking of epic music, we all know the music from this game absolutely slaps. I, of course, am talking about Undertale.
Yes.
A game that another one of these indie games that is just an indie darling. Everybody I know who's played it has had nothing but good things to say about it. say they played through it multiple times. It's just that good. It's a quick game too. And you don't really grasp the whole scope of the game until you play through it multiple times. And I love the soundtrack. I love the look of the game. I do like when newer games have that retro look and do it justice. And this definitely looks like it belongs on an NES. And I've never played it. And am I really even a gamer if I've never played Undertale? It's on everything now. I think it's on the Switch. It's everywhere.
It's on Game Pass.
Well, there you go. Join the club, Undertale.
I know. I actually really like the music too. And I think one of the first times I heard it was at Video Games Live, which is that orchestrated kind of rock concert-y.
It came up in our soundtrack episode.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I've been, I think, 3 times now to those different shows.
That's so cool.
So yeah,
very cool.
They're cool.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, it's nice that they do those at all. Like, shows you how far the video game industry has come.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but yeah, I should play this game. It's probably crazy cheap on absolutely everything, and with Game Pass, it's no extra cost. So I really have no excuses. But I still haven't played it. And I can always, it's weird. These are games that I know I probably would like, but it's like, for whatever reason, they just ended up on that back burner.
Yeah.
And anytime I gave them a thought, there was always something else to play that just, I wanted more than it.
Right.
So
think about people who like, oh, I could play Horizon or I could play Breath of the Wild. I can only get one game. Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? Like, that would be a really tough choice.
Mm-hmm. And I think people probably feel like I do this on purpose. If they recommend a game to me, I just never play it. And I swear it's not intentional. It's just like, yeah, I'll get around to that. You know, like it'll always be there.
Oh, you do that to me. I feel bad for all the games that I haven't played.
Oh, well, you're saying I do that to you. Well, you do it to me too.
You recommend games and I just have never, I did try Little Nightmares. So that could
you didn't like it. So maybe it's a good thing you don't listen to me, Brian. I don't know. I just think that, I do the same thing. You'll see there are a few on this list that definitely you have mentioned more than once to me. So it'll come up.
All right. Well, we got Doom Eternal out of the way. So that's good.
We did. I didn't want to have like a run of yours in a row. So I put some games in between them there.
Very good.
Oh, I will say this is a good time to mention it. The structure of my list, I kind of tried to do it from the game I would be like the game I'd want to play more than anything, or I think I would enjoy the most towards the top, aside from Doom Eternal. I wanted to get that out of the way because it's probably no surprise that it's on my list. But I did kind of move it up. As you go further up my list towards number 1, it's games that probably are a huge surprise I haven't played at this point.
I see.
Yeah. Like it's something I'm 100% sure I would love.
Yeah. I think I have a similar thing, except there are some that are like, well, it's just been so long that yes, I need to play it, but I just haven't. So
right.
We'll look at that. Cool. All right. Well, my number 8 is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Oh. So this is another one where I kind of just slotted it in Odyssey. It's kind of interchangeable with Origins or Valhalla.
Right.
I heard the best things from Odyssey, or at least things that spoke to me the most, just with where the story goes. And, you know, what do we have? Egypt versus Greece versus England for the Viking stuff.
I guess
I think a lot of it
takes place in England. I think, yeah.
So I mean that one, Valhalla would be my next. The Egyptian one doesn't really speak to me at all. Okay. But let's just say Odyssey. I hadn't played an Assassin's Creed game since 4, Black Flag. And that one, you know, I put an okay amount of time into. I enjoyed it, but these games have only increased in quality as time goes on. And this trilogy, I think, is probably the ones that would make me want to play it the most out of any of the different ones that have come before it. So yeah, this is one where I definitely want to play it at some point. as soon as I get a spare 80 hours, I will definitely buy this game and put some time into it.
I've heard very good things about Odyssey in particular. And
Yeah,
I don't know if I wasn't so dead set on never playing an Assassin's Creed game again.
Sure.
I mean, maybe this is the one I would give the shot to.
Sure.
Who's to say? But I agree as far as your sentiment in order. It would be Valhalla or this. Origins, I've heard good things, but I've heard a lot more good things about those two games over Origins.
Yeah. I mean, Origins was the origin of this new trilogy where they were kind of going in a different direction from what they had done before. So they probably worked out the kinks in the subsequent games.
Right. Good pick though, man.
Thank you.
A very good pick. So, Brian, I think I mentioned that there are some games on my list you've said I should play, and you might be surprised to find this one on my list, but I will tell you why it is here. Like every reviewer on the planet can't be wrong. So my number 8 is Stardew Valley.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. I've been into some, I just mentioned Civilization. I understand this is different. There are more RPG elements, but there's very much that like agricultural element as well, like, getting crops and everything and making your farm better, which has sim elements, if I'm not mistaken. Like, having never played this game, I'm asking you. But this is maybe one of the most well-reviewed games of all time. I don't have the official numbers, but I don't know if I read any outlet that gave it under like a 9 out of 10 or a 90, whatever. I know these numbers are superfluous and it is what it is, but it's literally been glowing review after glowing review, including a glowing review from my co-host, who I probably value over many reviewers.
Yeah, sure.
At least your opinion. No, your gaming opinion, I truly do. Although you say you don't really know my gaming pedigree when it comes to first-person shooters. So
I mean, I know
we've only been doing this for over a year, Brian. So
first-person shooters, it's very broad.
Right? No, I don't. I'm just kidding. Literally, last episode, I was like, I don't like first-person shooters. Third person's way better. So I'm kidding. I get it. But yeah, I just mentioned that I hadn't played RPGs in a very long time, played Final Fantasy VII Remake, really enjoyed it. And it's got me thinking, would I enjoy a game like Stardew Valley? And this is another one where it's more my nature fighting myself because I know which games I like. And I'm in my head, I'm 70% sure this would be a waste of money. But it's that 30%, that really makes me want to get it.
Yeah.
Because it's not the type of game I would typically play and enjoy.
Sure.
But you just hear so much good about it that maybe I'm wrong. I am the one who's never played it saying these things, right? So maybe Stardew Valley is worth my time and I should give it a fair shot.
I mean,
maybe I should give it those 6 hours you were mentioning.
Right.
Know?
I was in your position when the game came out. I said, well, I don't care about like Harvest Moon style games or farming. Like none of that matters to me. And I absolutely adored it. It was so much fun. I think it was more fun to play with another person just because you can bounce off each other and make the farm better a little more efficiently. Because that's where this game shines, for me at least, is it's that being efficient, doing things the right way. I couldn't care less about the dating or getting items to people, the relationships.
I'm not here to make friends.
Exactly. I'm here to make my farm better.
That's right. My farm will dominate and take over your farm.
That's it.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know if that's how the game works.
Everyone works on the same farm if they're in co-op.
Oh, boo. Yeah. No, I mean, like, there are other people in like your hood, right? In like your town, right?
Yeah, there are other people.
Can you take over their farms?
They don't. No one else has another farm.
Oh,
well, so there is another person that has a farm, but no one's in competition. Everyone, it's a community. You're trying to build your community up.
Okay, but do you get to like steal things from them? No, I'm just kidding. I'm like bringing all this disruption into the community. I'm just kidding.
I mean, there are definitely things like, so one of the main facets of the game is like there's like basically Walmart is like, we're going to come in and make your community better.
Oh,
and you can either be like, oh yeah, hail corporate, or not.
man, fight the system.
Exactly. So,
Come on.
I mean, I allowed Walmart to come into my town.
That is not very punk rock,
It's
Brian.
not the right thing to do,
No,
but
that is not very punk rock.
it's
a
the
farmer.
whole like, I want things to come quickly to me, and I forget what it was, but yeah, there's definitely, they make it so horrible because when you go into it's like a big, like a Walmart.
Yeah.
The moment you walk in, it's like fluorescent lights and it has that hum and it's so irritating. It's bad.
Oh yeah.
They do a really good, or sorry, I should say this is one man show that does the whole game, programming, graphics, story, everything about it.
Yeah.
Is one person, which is fascinating. If you want to learn more about that story, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, the book goes into that.
I should have mentioned that too. That's another reason why like my interest was piqued on this. It's good book. Never read the second book from Jason Schreier, but it's a good one.
Yes, we should mention Jason Schreier, the author of that. And what's the other one that I read?
I don't know. You read it. I'm like in the clear here, dude.
Yeah, it's a reset.
Is it?
Ruin. Yeah, press reset. That's
press
it.
reset. Yeah.
Press reset. Yeah. Ruin in the video game industry. Yeah. Very good as well.
Yeah. He's out there doing the good journalistic work. We're over here making top 10 lists, but he's pushing buttons.
Right. Yeah. There's some news out of that. I'll save it for our news episode, but it ties into the book and like an update basically on some situations.
Wow, cool.
So.
Yeah. That'd be good. Oh, look at us, little foreshadowing there.
Right.
Tune in to our news episode to catch that.
Teaser.
Yeah, there you go.
You should play Stardew Valley. You can play it on your phone if you want to.
I probably should do that.
You should not play on your phone, but you should play on like a Switch at least.
Okay. Deal.
All right. Well, that's a great pick. I think
Thanks.
You should play that game. And here's one that is upsetting to me that I have never played. Again, I've put 30 minutes into it and I just haven't done what I needed to do. But Final Fantasy 3, Super Nintendo's Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 6.
Oh, this hurts pride.
I know, dude, it hurts me. I mean, this is Chrono Trigger of like let's say prequel style.
Right.
It came before Chrono Trigger, but it has a lot of the same trappings.
This is
it's my great shame.
Yeah.
I would say this is probably one of the most shameful things that's on my list.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, there are a few games that I would say are essential, and I'd probably count this as essential, depending on how long the list was that I was given to count essential games. But this would be on my list over Chrono Trigger personally. I also didn't get the same thing out of. I love Chrono Trigger. This is going to sound like I don't love it, but I think because I played Final Fantasy 3 first, it had that first impression and benefited from it. But yeah, it's good. It's real good.
My ideal way to play this is a GBA cart in my Game Boy Micro, so I can really.
Cool. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
So didn't they just do pixel perfect remasters of these early Final Fantasy games that released on PC? I think they're on Steam.
If
I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I hear they look pretty. So the games look good, but then the text is that like
right. It's
what is it called?
It doesn't fit. It's not like
it
just pixel look to it.
Right. It breaks it completely. Yeah. It looks like you're looking at what did Apple call their text that you can like zoom in infinitely and it never degrades?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about though. It's like all the text that's on the phone is you can never get any sort of visual degradation. It looks like that and it looks bad.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
So
yeah, well, playing on a Super Nintendo, then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, but this is to me it's essential gaming. But I'm also not going to give you a bunch of crap for never playing it. Like if you played Chrono Trigger, it's hard to give you any crap. You played one of the most classic 16-bit RPGs out there. So those things are probably top 2.
Right.
If I'm being honest. So
Chrono Trigger even has like names from Final Fantasy that didn't make any sense to me then, but now they do.
Yeah. It is a shame, but you'll get around to it. The game will always be there. This is one that I can say pretty confidently it will always be there. It's not going to be like, oh, they pulled the PS Vita store and now we don't have it anymore.
Right.
It's not going to be like that for this one. It'll be remade again. Trust me.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I guess good pick.
I should play this game, right?
You probably should.
Okay.
Yeah. So moving on to my number 7, it is Shovel Knight.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, this is another one of those indie games that keeps. I have a few of them on here now, but it's another one I've heard great things. I love 2D side scrollers, and I love the 2D Metroids. I love the 2D Castlevanias, and I'm 100% sure I would absolutely love this game, especially now with all the DLC that's been done to it.
Yeah,
just never played it, and I don't know why. When even in the early days of the Switch, they had that Shovel Knight collection,
right?
And it was during a time when like games weren't dropping. It may have been between Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
Sure.
And it was like, man, I was so close to getting it. It was $25, but you talk yourself out of $25 purchases.
Sure.
And I did. I talked myself out of it, and I kind of haven't thought of it since then until I'm making this list, and it's really a game I should play. I love retro games, and I think now retro games are being this is going to sound bad, but they're being made better than a lot of retro games were being made when they were initially made. Like people learn from the mistakes of the past, and now they make these like perfect side-scrolling action platformers. And from everything I hear, that's what this game is.
Yeah,
I really need to play it.
You should.
Yeah.
I kickstarted it. I got the 3DS version.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I was really anticipating it when it was being talked about, and I really liked it. The 3DS kind of detracted from my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Wii U was the other one during that time that it was on. So I probably didn't get the best experience, but you can get it on the Switch would be a perfect way to play this game.
Right. I agree.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't know. It's not all the way my style of game, so I didn't get all the way through it, but I played a lot of it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
I need to do it.
You should.
But look at how much money I would have spent if I bought all the games just up to this point, and we're not even like halfway there yet. So
yeah.
You got to pick and choose.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, this was one. I have kickstarted very few things, but I for whatever reason, when this game came out, I was like all in.
Oh man,
so
that's cool.
All right, well, number 6. This is another one that you're gonna give me some crap for, but I never really had the proper way to play it, so I skipped it. I still don't have the best way to play it, and that's Demon's Souls. So. I didn't have a PS3 when this game came out, and I didn't care about Souls games when I eventually did get a PS3, and I don't have a PS5. So,
oh man.
And so this is an instance where I am never, ever going to touch the PS3 version of this game, because the PS5 version is the definitive way to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be doing myself a disservice if I tried a different
100%.
Right.
Yeah. Like I didn't play it prior to the PS5 version, and it was kind of similar. It felt like a thorn in my side because I love these games. Absolutely love Soulsborne games.
Sure.
And when I heard it was coming to the PS5, man, I knew it. I was like, this is going to be great. And it's
for a
great.
while, it was your top PS5 game ever.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to give anything away in case we do that list.
Right.
As of right now, it's honestly probably my number 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like Ratchet and Clank has been out,
Sure.
There've been some releases now, and it's still probably my number 2.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I will buy you this game if you get a PS5.
So,
I will.
I
will. But you have to put more than 6 hours into it, Brian.
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah.
If
you bought me
a
a $70 game, I would absolutely play through it. Like, just even if I hated it, I wouldn't hate this game, but I would be like, I played through it at least.
Yeah. That's why we're friends.
That's right.
I would hope so. I wouldn't be offended if you didn't.
Yeah.
Like, game's bought at that point, you know?
Right.
But no, it's so good. I don't know what to say. I mean, I've talked ad nauseum about this game on the podcast. Sure. It is still one of my favorite Soulsborne games.
Yeah.
And one of the best on the console. So I really do hope you get the opportunity to play it.
It's an inevitability. I'll put it that way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
PS5 buddies. Let's go. Just wait till I get my Xbox.
I am waiting.
Okay. Sorry.
Game Pass,
to disappoint. This list is just full of me disappointing Brian.
No.
Not only do I not have my Xbox, I haven't played Stardew Valley or Doom Eternal.
I take so much joy in saying, oh, it's on Game Pass too.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun to say that.
I know. I twist the knife a little bit, right? I love it when you say that. Yeah, really great. Wonderful. So moving on to my number 6. Speaking of disappointing Brian, my number 6 is the Mass Effect trilogy.
All right.
You knew this had to be on my list, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of BioWare in their prime, this is their magnum opus to this day. Their magnum opus.
I think people would argue.
About what?
Baldur's Gate
2. Well, I played Baldur's Gate, and like they're good. They're good games. Don't get me wrong. Like they are good games. I enjoyed them. And you might be right. Like there's probably an argument to be had there. They're very different from this is. So yeah, but you're right. There's probably an argument to be had there. One I am not prepared for right now. But I will say this is a game I would almost 100% enjoy the crap out of. The 3 of them. Yeah. Maybe not the first one from what I hear, but I'd make my way through it.
Well, so story-wise, it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think the gameplay, like the shooting mechanics, are the thing that is insufferable. Right. But
the vehicle levels I've heard too,
those aren't that bad. Okay. People put too much into that, there's not that much of it.
Right. So, and I love sci-fi. Absolutely love sci-fi. I love huge, overarching, interweaving stories. I literally have no doubt I would enjoy these games, and I haven't been really spoiled on them either, other than what you've mentioned on the podcast. You know, the beginning of number 2 and things like that.
Sure.
But that's not going to spoil the experience. I mean, I know there's a third game with that person in it, so
right.
You know, I really look forward to when these go on sale, I think.
This is one of those series that I would love to just take away from my brain to re-experience it new.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. I know it's an inevitability. Let's put it that way, that I do play these games, and it'll happen.
It's if better than Star Wars.
You have broken me. How do I go forward from here? No,
I don't know if that helps your decision to play them or severely hinders it.
I think Star Wars holds a lot of nostalgia in my mind.
I'm mostly kidding.
I mean, if we're talking about sci-fi from a legitimate, like thought-provoking standpoint, there's a lot better than Star Wars.
Sure.
And I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Right.
But
there's feeling associated with Star Wars that absolutely can't be replicated.
Correct. I really look forward to playing this. I want to punch a reporter real bad.
Yes.
Real
3
bad.
times. 1 per game.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Just got to make the right decisions.
That's it. Oh man. The day that you play those, I would, if you get those, I would probably like get them, and then we would have to do some sort of like extravaganza episode.
Oh, that'd be cool.
On the entirety of Mass Effect.
Oh, I would totally be down for that.
Yeah.
Now I want to buy them. Now we have look, business write-off. There you go.
Yep.
We're good.
Play 300 hours of a game to do an hour-long episode of a podcast.
Right. I'm in.
Perfect. All right. Well, going into my number 5 is Journey.
Oh my, yeah.
It's Journey. I got to play Journey.
I'm glad it's on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. It's quick. It's super quick.
It's quick. It's cheap.
Yeah.
You're in and cheap. You're out.
I think it's on sale right now too, or it was during the summer sale.
That's $3 usually. I mean, it's a pittance.
Yeah. I would play through it again.
Yeah.
I would. Easy. Like not much of my time, and it was awesome.
Right.
Oh, so beautiful. Such a beautiful game.
I only hear good things. So
yeah.
Man.
I know.
And yeah, I think the thing stopping me, this was another, like, I think it was PS3, and I was just like, well, I don't have that, and I hear it's good, but I'm not going to spend $400 or whatever to play one game. So,
well, yeah, and at the time, I don't think it was ever a full price game.
No, it's always been like a sub
$20. Yeah,
right.
It's a great game. I am so happy to have played it. It goes into what's a question of worth, but it's a short game. Right. You get the full experience playing through it once. It is something that you should play through more than once. I got it I played it for free when I had a PS Now subscription. So not for free, but you get what I mean. Would I spend $20 on it? It's a tough game to spend $20 on.
Really?
Well, why would I have to now? It's $3, but I mean, God, that's what I mean. We're talking about value. It's a stupid thing. Would I spend $20 on it? Of course, it was one of the most meaningful experiences I've had playing a video game, right?
Yeah.
But going by what you can get for $20, like I could get Doom Eternal for $20. and like I realize these are two totally different games,
right?
But Doom Eternal will take up a lot more of your time. Maybe not a lot more of your thoughts and feelings.
No,
but a lot more of your time. Yeah, exactly. So,
so are you saying that, like, when the game came out and it was $20, you were unsure, like, I don't know if this is worth $20. Like, I don't know enough about how I'm going to feel after playing. Like, was it a mystery $20 at that point? Or was it like, I've heard so many good things, $20 is worth it, and take my money?
I mean, I played it on PS Now, though.
Well, so I guess my question is not to you specifically, but to like the person when this game came out. Like, do you think that was a hard sell to them?
No, probably not. But I think it was brought up in more than a few articles about it. That like, hey, be aware, you're getting a short game if you don't play through it multiple times. So I do think that was probably enough to keep some people away.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Absolutely. But it's a great pick. You should wholeheartedly play it for $3. There's literally no question there.
Right.
Anyway, moving on to my number 5. We mentioned Lord of the Rings earlier, and there are 2 games in that world that I haven't played, and they are Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. And these are games that just, gosh, I love the Lord of the Rings. I love Middle Earth. I love Tolkien mythology.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to that Amazon series that's coming out.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Yes. I know. It's like the Second Age. Looks so good, man.
Right.
So yeah, why wouldn't I play these games? Why didn't I buy these games?
I don't know. I have no answer.
I don't know either. But I feel like I'm not alone in that. I feel like a lot of people didn't purchase.
I didn't play Shadow of War, but I really liked Mordor.
The Nemesis system too sounds really, really cool.
Yeah.
These are games I still want to play. I think I messaged you a few weeks ago. One of them was on sale for $5.
Oh, they're so cheap.
I was like, is this worth it?
They're giving them away.
And I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it.
Also on Game Pass.
Well, there you go. But yeah, I need to play these games. You had mentioned it was like Arkham Combat with
it's
Middle Earth.
It's
right?
dirty Arkham system. Combat.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah,
it's not as precise.
Most games are that try to replicate it.
It's even like sloppier than Spider-Man. I would.
Yeah,
I would posit.
I could see that. I will argue after playing Miles Morales for a long, long time now. Spider-Man combat is not sloppy.
No, it's not. And but like it's real loose in Mordor.
Yeah. And I think now the main thing keeping me away is they live in this place where the graphics are not great anymore.
They're not. I don't even think they were at the time, honestly.
I'd hate to sound so superficial about it, but I have a PS5. Like, God, that's so shallow, dude. I have a PS5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play these peasant
people. Just shut us off. They hate me. Everybody hates me now. But no, it's not that. It's just a lot of these and Journey's not one of them. I'd have to say Journey looks gorgeous still.
Yeah,
because of its art style, right?
Exactly.
But when you get into these ones that tried to do a lot graphically for the time, they kind of just don't look good. I told you it's what kept me away from Shadow of the Colossus for a long time until the PS4. I played the PS4 remake. And it's just one of those where it's tough to play games that, for me, it's mostly 3D games. I love retro games. Like, they don't look bad in my opinion, but there are these odd era 3D, action games that just look a little that I find hard to dedicate a lot of time to. And that's so superficial. I understand that. And, I'm kind of a jerk for saying it, but it's the truth.
Feel the same way,
it's like what it, I have no doubt if I got into the game, I'd enjoy it, but it's what kept me from buying it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what some older games suffer from just in general is if you didn't play it when it came out and were okay with the graphics, then it just gets harder and harder to go back to something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there you go.
Very good. Yeah. I like I said, I always get them confused. Right. I played the first game.
The first one. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Mordor.
Yeah.
Maybe that would make the most sense, right?
It's totally Mordor. Yeah.
Okay.
But I always have to take 10 seconds to think in my head which one it is.
I wonder how they came up with the sequel. They're like, well, we already used Mordor, which people know is Lord of the Rings. What do we do now?
I think it's a dumb naming system.
Shadow of the Shire?
No, that would have been horrific.
Like what? Shadow of Isengard?
It's just like, why? It's Middle Earth, Shadow of. So is this the Shadow of series?
Right.
It's like with Horizon. We were like, is Zero Dawn? Like, is that part of it? Right. But no, now we know Horizon is the game series.
Yeah.
So
yeah, which Zero Dawn, spoiler alert, mildly played into the story.
It did, yes.
But
absolutely.
Did Horizon ever play into the story? The word Horizon? Like Forbidden West plays into the story, but I don't think Horizon plays into it in any way.
Man, that's a great question.
So why have it there?
Man. Anyway. Oh man.
Yeah.
This is some research that we need to do now.
I know.
Because I'm trying to think of if in the gameplay there was something called Horizon.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't remember it being there.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Zero Dawn is for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So. And so is Forbidden West. So what the heck is why Horizon?
Right. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah. Anyway.
Man. All right. Well, on a much easier to digest note, my number 4 is Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door. I've never played this game.
Man.
So it's nice. Mario.
It's nice to know there's some on your list that I've said you should play. It's reassuring.
Yes. Yeah. I've heard, fantastic things, and it's correct me if I'm wrong, the best Paper Mario as far as I'm aware, and play Paper Jam that's a Mario and Luigi. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't played this one, and I hear it's the best, and I don't have a way to play it. There's no good way for me to consume this game. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Nintendo. But
yeah. I mean, if you have probably $80 to $100, you could get the game and a GameCube.
Well, I think the game itself is probably $100.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is a highly sought after.
I have it.
Game. Really?
Yeah.
Hang on to that one.
Yeah. It's in my opinion the best Paper Mario. I haven't played all of them.
Sure.
And mostly because I played this one and I played the next few, and they just didn't hit. And after that, I'm like, yep, that's it. That's all you get is a series. I will always have 1,000-Year Door.
That's cool.
It's cool. The characters are cool. It's very tongue in cheek, very humorous.
Sure.
Very cool little hidden areas and puzzles and things like that. And it was the best use of that paper mechanic in not really an overworld per se, but outside of combat and things like that.
Sure.
As you're moving through the world. Yeah, this is definitely a must play. One of the best GameCube games ever.
Yeah. I guess I can emulate it. But
yeah, you could. Yeah, definitely. Is that on Game Pass, Brian? Is it? Yeah, didn't think so, pal. No, I'm kidding. Rub that in my face. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. I'm glad it's on your list because if you haven't played it, it's definitely one that should not be overlooked. Yeah, good pick. So my number 4 is one that I know you've played. I have not. And it's really weird that I haven't, because the first game I've talked about on this podcast, absolutely love it. One of my favorite games from that era. And I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, yeah.
The first one that was like, I spent countless hours in there, hundreds of hours in the first Red Dead Redemption. I never bought the second one, never touched it, never played it. Why did that happen?
All of these are so vexing to me. Like
right?
Yeah, you should play that game.
Yeah,
so
I've
I
heard
didn't
good
beat
things,
it,
but I've also heard bad things.
Yeah, I am more on the bad side, but I still think it's a pretty remarkable game that it exists. But my wife played through the majority of it, and I watched a good amount, and I also played a good amount, but I think it's worth experiencing. I can't say that it's a game for everyone though, because the mechanics are very bullheaded and the game is making you play a certain way. And I would say it's a lot slower paced than a game that I would want to play. And that was my major criticism of it. Yeah. Everything's very deliberate. Yeah,
it's another one though. When it came out, I like John Marston. It's weird to have some sort of affinity towards a character. I understand. Look, I love The Last of Us Part 2. Like, I appreciate when developers try to tell more of a story or a different story or someone else's story. But for some reason, I was like, why didn't you go with a younger John Marston? Like, what's your problem? Is that bad?
Right.
And so that was kind of why I skipped it. Plus, at the time, it's a $60 game, and you got to spend that money, which when it came out was a big question mark for me. And I think you helped talk me out of it when it did finally go on sale, because about the time it was going on sale is when we started hanging out. And I think you had mentioned your experience with it to me, and you were like, well, it's good, but it's also got these quirks, these faults. So it's just those little twists of the knife, and it got to be enough, and it was like, no, I think I'm gonna skip it.
Do you know if it's on PS5, like an upgraded version or anything?
I'm not sure. I know it's cheap, so I know it looked great on PS4. So
this is one of the few physical games that I have. And I don't need it because it's on Game Pass, or at least it was. So if you want
Keep talking, Brian. Yeah, buddy. You got there. I was like, is he gonna say it?
Oh yeah, I am never going to play this game again, and I think I have other methods of. So I'm never going to play the PS4 version again. If I ever want to play, I'm gonna play it on the PC.
Man, you guys. You guys just heard history in the making. This is the best moment ever. I get to play one of the games I've never played from my list. That's phenomenal. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, I will ship it to you because I literally will never touch this game again.
Yeah, I hope it gets here faster than the Banjo-Koozie did.
It will.
I'm just kidding. God, could you imagine? You're like giving me something for free, and I'm like, you better send it out soon. Oh man, best co-host.
I know how that goes, because when my friend Matt was sending the Oculus, I was like, maybe he forgot. Like he was pretty adamant that he was going to give it to me, but does he has my address, he has all the information. Like, is he actually sending this? But then it arrived, and I was like, okay, whew.
That's me in like 2 weeks. Like maybe it wasn't on Game Pass. Maybe he wanted to keep it.
Yeah, the next episode I'm going to be like, I spent a lot of time in Red Dead Redemption 2.
That's cool.
I hate it. Like I'm gonna keep playing it, but I really hate this game.
Every minute I spend is like nails down a chalkboard, but every minute I spend in it, Ryan's not playing it, so exactly. I'm good. Yeah.
No, the game is yours for sure.
Cool, sweet, thanks, man.
Oh. All right. Well, we're in our top 3 now.
Yeah.
So my number 3, I can't remember if you've played this game, but it's another one that I've just missed, and that is Braid.
No, I haven't played it.
Yeah. So neither of us can really speak to anything but what we've heard then. But I have heard really good things. I have heard the mechanics are cool. I have heard that the story is very interesting, especially in like the last parts of it. But this is just, I never picked it up. I had a 360. I had the arcade was something that I looked forward to, all those different releases. Summer of Arcade was always so cool because it was like, here's 6 games that are like, we put a lot of time into this. Braid was one of those. I think this is one of like the first arcade games. And just never got around to it.
Didn't they just do a trailer for like a re-release that's coming out? They're like up-resing it and doing all new hand-painted backgrounds or something. Wasn't there something about that?
Not that I've heard, but you could be. Yeah, you may have seen some news that I just missed.
Yeah, it was a while ago, and I'm not sure if maybe that's come out by now. I'm not sure, but never.
I mean, it's on PC, so that would be the way that I would want to play it.
Yeah,
I might even have it, honestly.
Yeah, right. It might be on Game Pass. I mean,
it might be. It might be.
Yeah, it might be. Might be. Definitely not on GameCube.
No.
Yep. So that's a good pick. I can't speak much on it.
Sure.
So we'll just move into my number 3 because I'm not sure you'll be able to speak much on this either. So remember how I said I love Soulsborne games?
Yes.
I've never played Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure I would love this game.
Yeah. It's a lot faster,
right? I
think.
So I think that the combat is different enough from Bloodborne and Demon Souls, Dark Souls, that it kept me away from it. It does look a little faster, and it looks like you have to have perfect timing for multiple strikes in a row. It's all about breaking defenses. So you kind of use your guard, but there are specific ways to use your guard to raise a meter. I think the meter, what's it called? Not like stamina, but like stature or something. And you break the other person's stature by doing like perfect timed counters and things like that. And then you get a free shot, which eliminates like entire life bars from bosses. But it seems really stressful. That kind of combat seems like you have to make perfect, like in Dark Souls and Bloodborne, you could get away with missing a counter. If you try to like parry and riposte, you could get away with missing that. There we go. You could get away with missing that every once in a while, but like you have to do it perfectly 10 to 20 times in a row against some of these bosses. And only then do you get the shot to take off their whole life bar. And they actually have 3 full life bars at a time with some of them. So it just seems like it's a lot. It's a lot. And that's kept me away. I think that being said, I still think I'd enjoy it. And I really should get it.
I was intrigued by the speed increase that people were talking about, but then by the same token, people were saying like, yeah, I tried for 45 minutes and didn't beat the boss. I just don't have that kind of patience or time for a game at this point. I feel like with the Dark Souls, with the Bloodborne, there's always ways to cheese the boss to some degree. Yeah. I'm not above cheesing.
Yeah. I've never bashed my head against the wall more than 15, 20 minutes with any of the bosses from those games. Yeah, they're tough. Like they'll kill you a lot.
Yeah.
Just the idea of fighting a single thing for an hour.
Right.
Thank you. That's a lot. It's a big ask, but I still think I'd enjoy it. I still think I'd do it. I do think I'd bash my head.
You just need a 2-week period where you have no family or responsibilities, or
if only, if only something like that would happen.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good pick. I have not wanted to play that game because it's not going to be for me. Like if anything, I'll get into Dark Souls, especially if you win your bet. So we'll see about that.
A lot of Game of the Year awards though should be noted,
Totally.
Not without its merits.
Yeah. I do want to mention one game that I was toying around with. It's not on my list, but in the same vein as Sekiro in style is Ghost of Tsushima. I'm going to play that. Like there's no world where I don't, because and you can speak to the quality of that.
It's
and
phenomenal.
They have the new edition that has more
Iki Island,
yeah. So that, yeah, I wanted to leave that off, but I'm going to play that at some point.
Yeah.
But my number 2 is a game series that I know that you are in love with, and I have never played. I have it on Game Pass, and that is the Wolfenstein series.
Cool.
So yeah, at some point I definitely want to dive into these. I'll have to read up on what the order of the games is because of the old and the new and the new and the old and
So there's oh my god, I just butchered at this point. I need to see the titles and I can put them in order.
Yeah.
Because the Old Blood is a DLC for the first game, and I think the first game is the new Colossus. Maybe.
No, that's the second game.
That's the second game.
Totally.
So what's the other title? That's what I mean about seeing the titles.
Old Blood and then New Order.
New Order. The New Order is the first game, and then the Old Blood is a DLC for the New Order, and then there's the new Colossus. That's what it is. Yeah.
And then New Colossus has DLC called the Old something.
Oh,
they do it twice, and it's very infuriating.
That is kind of infuriating. Yeah.
Anyway, Wolfenstein. Like I said, it's on Game Pass. It's also on Switch. This isn't these are Bethesda games, so they were pretty well optimized for the Switch. And before I got an Xbox, I was actually considering playing Wolfenstein on the Switch, but it's probably not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
do the Game Pass thing. Yeah, do the Game Pass thing for sure. And they're fun.
It's so, man, not to just sing the praises of Game Pass, but this Bethesda thing is incredible because pretty much I think all of the games are PC, and then most of them are Xbox, which is usually like the inverse. So that's crazy how they have just like so much good optimization for PC games.
It's pretty wild.
So
Xbox, man. Woo-hoo. No, I'm kidding. I need one. I'll say that. Good pick. I will say there were games that you've mentioned prior on your list I would put over this, but these are fun. These are fun games, and they're very good first person shooters.
Right.
Like definitely play them. 100%.
Will do.
Cool. So moving on to my number 2. This is a game you might know that I haven't played, Brian. Batman Arkham City.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So we've this has come up multiple episodes where I'm like, I've only played Arkham Asylum and I loved it, and I never played Arkham City, and I've only played Arkham Asylum and I loved it, and never played Arkham. Well, guess what? I'm crappy. I need to play this game.
We're not going to play Splitgate tonight because you need to play Arkham City.
Talk about getting it cheap too. Yeah,
I mean, right? I think
the Arkham collection is peanuts.
You could probably find this like outside, just under someone's
just
house plant.
Yeah, right. It's a travesty. You know what's interesting though? When I look at, I'd mentioned the Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War games, and it was the graphics that kind of stopped me. I don't get that feeling from these games.
No, not at all.
There's like a certain level of polish present in these Arkham games.
Well, I think there's a comic book sheen to everything that
holds it up.
Helps
it hold up really well. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I have no excuses here. This is why it's number 2 on my list, because I told you the disappointment will only go up the further we get up my list.
Right.
And I need to play this game.
Okay.
Yeah. People are probably questioning my gaming aptitude at this point after this list, but hey, I platinumed Returnal, so there you go.
Well,
question that.
the challenge rooms in Arkham City are some of the best just gameplay that I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
I had so much fun trying to get those high scores.
Yeah. I probably would just play through the story, but
yeah. Man,
I know.
This is bad.
I know. On that somber note,
there's still hope. There's still hope. As long as there's a heartbeat in your chest and breath in your lungs.
Well, so far, so good on that.
Okay. Good.
Let's hope that continues.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, that was your number 2, right?
That was it.
Okay.
That was it.
So we're going to get into our number 1s here. And Yeah, I'm not prepared, but I'm not prepared for your number one.
I don't know what
Arkham
yours
City.
is.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure.
Okay.
But I'm still reeling here from Arkham City.
I'm sorry to do that to you.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, let's get into the number ones then. All right. Well, you mentioned this. I don't think you even knew that you were mentioning it as a game that I have always wanted to play and have not. And that game is Civilization.
Oh,
Sid Meier's Civilization.
It's because it has a name attached to it.
Exactly. I mean, yes, that's
makes perfect sense. Man.
Yeah. It belongs to Sid Meier's. But so I put this on my list because I've always wanted to play it, but that want to play it has been increasing just every year that I hear about these games. So I'm saying either 4, 5, or 6, but I hear 6 is the game now. They've put enough work into it because that seems to be the trajectory of Civilization is, the number 4 comes out and they build and build and build and it's awesome. And then number 5 comes out and it's like, well, it's not as good as 4 in its complete form.
Right.
And then like we keep pushing and now 6 has all the stuff that you want. It's kind of like The Sims, they build it and then break it down and build it and break it down like a Civilization.
Right. There you go.
So this one I have wanted to play recently because Humankind. I don't know if you're aware of this game.
I have heard of that game. Yeah. Heard good things.
You know what I'm going to say? It's on Game Pass. And and I hear it's very like Civilization, except they change A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. So they try to take on the king basically of 4X games, I think they're known as.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always liked the idea of a turn-based kind of game like this. I've played I don't know if you're aware of a game called Polytopia. It's a phone game that is basically Civilization distilled into the very core concepts of exploring and fighting and all that stuff.
They have Civilization for your phone too.
They do.
Yeah.
Probably
very
not the
distilled.
best way to play.
Very distilled. Yeah, I've played it. Yeah. Not a bad time killer, but
sure. Yeah. But this is, I like the ideas. I like the building. I like the progress of it in the same way that Satisfactory does. Mm-hmm. I just never did it. I think the big thing for me is you need to dedicate some time to it, but it is that kind of game where it's like one more turn. Like mm-hmm. I have been playing for 4 hours, but that's what I needed to do.
Oh yeah. You definitely set up little goals and just find yourself chasing them and building new goals and chasing that. And yeah, definitely. I haven't played 6 or 5. I think the last one I played was 4. 2, 3, 4 was my experience, and that was over a long period of time.
Sure.
But these are phenomenal games, and especially for your interests, I think
you think I'd like it, right?
Yeah, I get that feeling. I kind of get that feeling. Yeah. I think you'd like it a lot.
Cool.
So my number 1, Brian. What do you think it is?
I have no idea. Is it a Zelda game?
It's not a Zelda game.
Okay.
It's Grand Theft Auto 5.
Nani? No, it's not.
You
play Grand Theft Auto 5.
Nope. Never played Grand Theft Auto 5.
You are one of 12 people on
That's
planet
what I'm
Earth.
saying.
What?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Never played Grand Theft Auto 5.
That is disappointing.
Kind of crazy, right?
How is this possible?
Exactly.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
What happened?
What do you mean what happened?
Okay, you have your Xbox or your PS3.
I had a PS3.
You had a PS3.
Yeah.
You have your PS3. The game comes out.
Well, I had a 360 as well. That was the same era, right? Or was it? Yeah. So I had both, just not at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened? We're in 2013.
Late in that console's life. If I'm not
We're
mistaken.
late in the console's life.
Yeah.
You have no intention of getting a PlayStation 4. What is going on in your life that you are not
when
playing?
When did PS4 come out?
In 2013. So it came out that year.
Why would I have no intention of getting a PS4?
Well, I mean, you didn't get it until later.
I didn't. That's true.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I did take video games took a back seat in my life for a little while. And it was during this period of time. It didn't last long.
Okay.
But we're talking about 3 generations of consoles having this game on it now. And I still don't have it. So that's, and I haven't touched it. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And I think it's the idea of Grand Theft Auto to me right now. I loved Grand Theft Auto 3. Absolutely loved it. Grand Theft Auto 4 was great. I'd say better than 3 in a lot of ways. And I just think like I was going through a lot in my life at that point. Let's put it that way. And video games were not a priority. I still played some, but I didn't buy as many to play. And then by the time it was a few years old, it was just kind of like there. Everybody played it. I kind of knew what it was at that point. I didn't have the interest that I maybe would have if I was paying closer attention when it launched. And I just never got around to it. And then it became like the best-selling game ever. It's always number 1. And then it was like, you know what? I'm not going to just be another person buying that game.
But the story is like, that's the thing. Like, I know that the multiplayer people go crazy for, and that's why we haven't gotten anything new. You want to know the crazy thing too? If I played that story,
it'd be all new to me.
That's insane.
Like, it's like I had a blind spot for the last 8 years for Grand Theft Auto 5, and I don't know how I've done it.
And you can play it. The PS5 has enhancements.
Now they do. Yeah, now they do.
I don't know about this, man. I don't know. I'm questioning a lot of things right now.
Are we still going to be co-hosts?
I don't know if we can do the show anymore.
Are you serious?
Until you get this game under your belt.
If you'd like to be my new co-host, you can contact me at listoffpodcast@gmail.com.
And
on Instagram. Hold on, I'm doing the plug here.
Okay.
List Off Podcast on Instagram and listoff_podcast on Twitter. Also, leave us a review. If you made it this far in the episode, you now know my dirtiest gaming secret. So leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. And if you want to be my new host, leave that in the review.
Any 11 of you that have not played GTA 5, you have 11 people on Earth that are candidates for this new co-host position.
So you're saying if somebody played Grand Theft Auto 5, they just wouldn't want to co-host with me?
They can't. They will not. They will not suffer it. This is a bombshell.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's mind-blowing.
Is it really? I had a feeling it would have that effect just by the sheer popularity of the game being discussed.
Everyone has played this game.
Not everyone.
Everyone.
What are you saying there? There's a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of things being said between the lines. I'm a human being, Brian.
I am saying the untouched tribes of Africa have played this game, or at least are aware of things.
You could have said Amazonia, and it would have been more acceptable.
Sure. Okay. You got to play this game.
I know.
You have the best way to play it.
I do.
It's dirt cheap. It was on Game Pass. It is no longer on Game Pass.
Take that.
Well, that's the thing. They can just churn out money because this game sells because it's good.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay. Let me reel it back. I get it. For what you're describing during the time, totally. I can understand that. I actually bought it and played it, and then I met my wife and I never touched it again. Mm-hmm. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. I also get the criticism. Like you said, everyone has played this game. And for me to not have played any of it, it's kind of crazy. I'm fully aware of that's why it's number 1 on my list.
Right. And it's not for these are violent, crude, horrific games. It's not for that reason because you like the other ones.
Right. I'm not above all that. Right. Especially in video games. I don't really care. Yeah.
Man.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
All right.
So if you're still listening, thanks. Thanks for sticking around. I'm glad we could at least have a few listeners after that.
On your list, I can definitively say this should be the next game that you play on
really
on your
out of everything.
Out of everything you just mentioned to me.
Wow.
You should play GTA.
That
5.
is maybe the highest praise I've heard for this game.
It's a great game.
I'm going to have to play it now. I'm going to have to do it. But we are playing Splitgate after this.
Yes, totally.
Okay. Just saying, like, I'll get this game. I'll get around to it. But
wow. Okay.
Nice Splitgate.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So speaking of which, you want to just, do we have a show next week?
We do.
Oh, look at that. Every week, guys. You can count on us. We are here for you.
Rain or shine.
No matter what. Even no matter what. Maybe next week I'll sit it out. I might call in sick. I'll be busy playing Grand Theft Auto 5, apparently.
There will still be a show because I will do it.
Oh, by yourself? Do a solo show. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
But we got our news episode next week, it looks like.
I know, yeah.
So
big time. August news. Prepare for that. There's been some. Brian even gave a little teaser this episode. So there's some good stuff coming at you.
That's right.
But as always, guys, thanks for listening. Have pity on my poor soul and have a great week. Bye.
See ya.